So we'll go ahead and get started here. I have quite a bit of coverage that I want to go through with you today. So I'm going to talk about ADP certainly today. We'll spend probably 20 minutes on ADP, what we do as a company and as a corporation, and it really ties into what you guys are doing from a sales perspective. Talk a little bit about my journey as well, and I will certainly talk about your differential advantage and what you guys are already preparing for in a world of sales. So first and foremost, I definitely wanted to thank William Paterson University. I wanted to give you a round of applause, absolutely, for this event. And more importantly, allowing ADP to be a premier sponsor of this event. We're very appreciative of that. And to you guys, the students, certainly your professors and those that help you run your programs, congratulations. I want to give you a round of applause as well. So while this slide is up here, I will say I did get a chance to speak with a few students from different schools across the country to get a feel for what you were doing over the last couple of weeks. Extremely impressed. You guys are really setting the bar high. You're preparing yourselves well for a great career in sales. I heard things like internships, role plays, commitment of time with no credits and things of that nature is super impressive. You're already differentiating yourself, so great job. In partnership, so why are we excited to be in partnership with William Paterson? A lot of reasons that really ties into you guys as students. First and foremost, sales is a very viable career option. I know everybody in this room knows that already. I'm going to take that a level deeper for you to get a better understanding of some things that we're doing and what's happening in the marketplace to differentiate yourself. Preparation for your first sales position, that's what this is about. That's exactly what you're doing. So envision yourself in interviews, talking to people for your first sales job. You have already set the bar very high for yourself, so I think that's excellent. You represent the best sales talent, without question. So at ADP, we have a lot of different sales jobs that we're hiring for, experienced sales jobs, entry-level sales jobs, vertical markets, product specialists, whatever the case may be. We're looking for certain attributes that I'm going to talk about, and you guys have already gained some of those attributes. Recognition for your commitment. I really hope you've had the chance to enjoy this week. I know it's a huge commitment for you guys, but the intensity of this sometimes can allow you to not take a step back and recognize what you've accomplished, and you've done a great job. So this is certainly recognition of that. And thank you to William Paterson once again. So, why sales? You could look at this slide. There's a lot of reasons why sales is a great career. Everybody has their own perspectives on it. For me personally, I love controlling my own destiny. And sales allows that to happen. Not every profession does. So in the sales profession, you can absolutely control your own destiny. You're already setting yourselves up for that success. The second component, and I've heard that from a few of your students and a few of you guys across the board, and you like this, you have uncapped earning potential from a sales perspective. So as you get into your sales career, that's a very lucrative scenario for you if done correctly, and that's very exciting. The third piece, and I can speak for myself on this, and those who have a sales career can absolutely verify this, you're going to have very unique life experiences, without question. You're going to be talking to companies in different areas of the United States that you may not have been in before. Maybe you're traveling to different areas of the United States you haven't been to before. Maybe you have a global presence. Maybe you're calling into a territory in Hong Kong. Those kind of experiences, working with different executives, maybe in IT and finance and marketing and sales, those experiences will definitely enrich your overall sales career. And then finally, and this is a very important one for you to know, and I'm sure you know this already, but I'm going to verify it if you do, there isn't a company that doesn't want you if you're good at sales. And that's an excellent career choice from your perspective. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. That's my own perspective. What are some of the things that we look for in a new hire from an ADP point of view? I will tell you, some of our managers are here today. They've helped you in the buyer journey. They're going to be judges, etc. And we're all well trained on looking for certain things, regardless of the type of sales position that we're hiring for. So first and foremost, we're looking for prospecting skills. If you have prospecting skills and you're comfortable prospecting, you're going to have a great opportunity in sales. And we provide, from an ADP perspective, a tremendous amount of training to get you good at prospecting. So that's the first thing that we look for, and we ask a lot of questions around that in our interview processes. The second thing, work experience, exposure to sales. We'll check the box on that for you guys. That's a big one. Stepping into an interview, talking about this experience alone, let alone all the other things that you've done, is wonderful. So those are two things that we look for. In addition to that, attitude. Attitude's going to permeate your success in sales without question. So we ask a lot of questions around attitude. We peel the onion on that 10 layers deep. And if you have the attitude mixed in with these two, you're going to be very successful. Focus on development. Every salesperson, regardless of tenure, success, time in the sales profession, is a work in progress. So we want to hire people without question that have a focus on development, that are in a constant state of improvement. That's super important. So if you think, oh, you have all the answers, you feel like you haven't reached the plateau of everything you haven't accomplished, that's exactly what we want. We want people that are constantly developing. So that's really important. And then closing talents. Closing is not a one-time event. It doesn't really happen at the end of a sales process. And I know many of you know that. It's the consistent moving throughout a sales process. You're always closing. It's that commitment to the next step. So we certainly want to hire people that have excellent closing skills. And that means if you think about the top of a sales funnel, right, when the sales opportunity begins, that's when the closing actually begins. That commitment for the next move. So we're looking for those skills, and we're asking a lot of questions around that. Some other things that we look for, certainly. It's not the bulk of what we look for every sales associate that we hire for, leaders as well. But these are some of the skill sets that you certainly want to talk to, master, get familiar with, and speak to in an interview process. Selling with social media. These were just a few ADP highlights that I pulled out. I put this together just this week. So all of you in the room are utilizing social media. We know that. That's a big part of your day-to-day life. You start to tie that into a business perspective in sales, big, big difference and differentiator between you and others in the marketplace. So we're using every aspect of social media right now at ADP. We're training our associates. It's built into our thought process, and we're actually tracking the wins. There aren't many companies that are tracking wins from a social media perspective. We can absolutely do that now, and we're holding everyone accountable to get really good at the utilization of social media. So prospecting is a little bit easier than it's been before. You think about big data and information that's out there. This allows you to really get in the door and to create new contacts and new executive dialogue with companies where you haven't before. So we're tracking that. A little bit about ADP. How many in the room have had a lot of exposure or been given information about ADP? Just raise a lot, right? So I'll try and take a little bit of a different angle here, but some of the basics that you know: $11 billion in sales, employer services encompasses SBS, our small businesses division, our major accounts division, our insurance services division, our retirement services division. We have an upmarket, enterprise, national accounts division. We have a global division. All that encompasses about $1.2 billion in new sales every year. That rolls off the tongue very easily, but I will tell you, it's hard to accomplish inside of a big company. So we're very focused and dedicated. We have a sales culture that creates those big numbers, and when done correctly, we can achieve our targets. So that's our corporate headquarters, really right down the road from here in Roseland, New Jersey. You can see our mission and vision, and we have the dealer services division as well. We are AAA rated. Many of you probably know that already. So what does that mean exactly? There's 4 companies left: Exxon, J&J, and Microsoft. So we are a very stable company. If you look at our balance sheet, it's in pretty good order. We have cash on hand. We have limited debt. That equates to some of this in the S&P scenario. So we're proud of that. We are globally recognized. You can find this on our web pages. So you look at some of the recognition that we've gotten from a global perspective. I'll just point out a few of these. We are one of the best companies for leaders. So if leadership is an aspiration for you and you happen to join ADP, you're going to have a great opportunity to get better at what you do. We also, if you look in the top left-hand corner, we were voted by Computer World one of the best places to work for IT. I think that's pretty neat too. So you could take a look at these, pretty exciting from a global perspective that we're recognized. These are some of our values: integrity. I won't spend a lot of time on this. You can read through it. Service excellence. We have over 20,000 service employees at ADP that support the sales organization. So we have over 60,000 employees, but you think a third of that actually supports our clients and prospects and us as employees. So that's pretty exciting. We're very innovative. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. Every person counts without question, and we really try and customize the experience for our employees. Whether it be someone who needs a working schedule, maybe a working mom, et cetera, we do our best to customize that, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And we are very results-driven. We are a sales company through and through. We're a ranked society. Those at ADP that are here know When you walk into one of our offices, you'll see electronic scoreboards where people stand. We joke around and say, you are what your record says you are at ADP. So that's the kind of culture you probably want to be in from a sales perspective. And we live and breathe that every day. We are recognized for innovation. So you could take a quick look at the screen here, some of the awards that we've gotten. ADP, I will tell you, is very proud of this one. Forbes, 3 years in a row, has recognized ADP as an excellent company in terms of innovation, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And we were not historically known as an innovative company. That is rapidly changing. So I will talk about that a little bit. Let me get into some of the macro trends that you guys are probably seeing already and you're learning about in school. Consumerization, I think we know that. Cloud, mobile, social apps, that is rapidly changing the world as we know it. In fact, right now, the tablet market is soon going to take over PCs. I'm sure you guys know that. In the next year and a half, it's a done deal. So tablet PC is exactly the same. Tablet's going to supersede the PC market within 2 years. So all of our products and services are built with that mindset. Big data and analytics, we have big data at ADP. Certainly, you're probably familiar with the ADP National Employment Report. So that's seen as very accurate information. And we have a lot more information we're providing our HR practitioners, et cetera, to be in the know on data that's out there. Compliance, talent management. For those of you that aren't aware, we're a human capital management company. Is everybody aware of that? That we're an HCM company? So primarily, we've been known as a payroll and time and labor management company out to the market, especially when talking to our clients and prospects. And even when we survey them, that's still the way they've seen us. That is rapidly changing. We have excellent offerings in the talent management market. So we're helping companies maintain and grow their biggest asset, which is talent. We have benefits offerings. We have excellent HR offerings, and that's all tying into our human capital management story. And it's centered around the employee at the companies that we work with. And cost management. So I'll get into this. Anybody familiar with the ADP Innovation Labs? Okay. It's a new concept for us. So this is in Roseland, New Jersey right now. We have 20 associates. All they do all day, every day is think of the next new ADP idea. That's all they do. So they came up with our mobile app idea. They have some excellent ideas on the horizon. We are actually going to be opening up an ADP Innovation Lab in Manhattan, right next to Google and LinkedIn, and we're going to take this up a notch. So this is all tying into our innovation, and I will tell you, when we take clients and prospects through this, it is extremely impressive. They can sit down, they can grab a seat, they can look and see what we're working on. We just allow them sort of open kimono in terms of what we're doing from the innovation lab, and we are getting into more sales process and winning deals with this out there on the table. So, our mobile app, I actually tweeted this about 2 days ago. We now have 1.5 million users. So that is growing rapidly, even faster than we expected. So we have one app, it's in many countries. We have over 60,000 clients now that are on our application, and they're using it almost every day when you start to look at the data and the analysis. So it's pretty impressive. That came from our ADP Innovation Lab. We have Document Cloud, which now allows our clients from an HR perspective to keep the critical HR documents in the cloud. And this is a very sticky solution for us. So we feel like our value add is going up every time we sign someone up on Document Cloud. So that's a big mover for us. Let me back up one here. Big data, I talked about that. We have a tremendous amount of big data. You can see some examples on the screen. This is a dream for an HR practitioner when done correctly. So we have access to a lot of this data and information, and we're tying it all together. Social, workforce management, we have this tied into our talent management solutions now. So when you think about social, and if done correctly at companies, they're keeping their employees longer when they're using social media correctly. It's connecting them to more people. We're well aware of that, and we're building that into our tools. We have the ADP Tablet now. It's in pilot. But if you think about everything I just showed, this is one viewpoint of it. So it's pretty exciting. If you're an HR practitioner, you have access to every level of your employees right in your own tablet, and it's a customized HR tablet. So that's something we have a lot of conversations going with right now. Our innovative solutions, you look across the board, we're more integrative, we're way more intuitive. Our company's changing rapidly. It's not just HCM, it's the innovation piece as well. So, career opportunities worldwide. Tremendous amount of career opportunities at ADP. Your experiences will depend on you, certainly, but if you live in California, you wanted to move to the East Coast, work in New York City, that opportunity is available to you. You may, 3 years later, want to go to Hong Kong, work for a few years there, then come back to the United States. that opportunity is available to you. We have a lot of associates now that are taking advantage of the experiences that are customized to them, and being a global company offers that to each and every one of our associates. So if you really think about it, and if you had the chance to talk to a lot of ADP associates, they would tell you it's like working for lots of small companies inside of a big company. And that's a pretty exciting scenario for us. And for those of you that are considering ADP from a career perspective, this is certainly something that you want to know. So ADP in sales, I talked about our sales culture, our rank society. We do move over $1 billion of new sales every year. We have to retain those clients at a high rate. It certainly puts a lot of pressure on our system. So that sales machine is never turning off. And if you think about our service model, it makes sense how the two are married to each other, service and sales. But $1.2 million in sales. We're actively looking to acquire companies on a regular basis. We're creating alliances and third-party relationships to complement our products and services. Joining ADP as an example, and certainly we tell this to any potential candidate, new hires, it's a resume lifting experience. If you go on a 3 to 5 year run with a company like ADP, with our products, our services, our innovation, you're going to really set your career up for tremendous success. We're stable and growing. This is a real picture from New York City on the NASDAQ. It was on a day that our CEO actually rang the bell. And if you look here at our stock price, it's done extremely well. If you listen to our investor calls, if you listen to what our executives are saying, our shareholder value is pretty high right now. And we certainly want that to continue, and we're not satisfied with what we're doing from a corporate perspective. We have to keep going. But I think ADP, when you look at our innovation and our stable scenarios that we have going on right now, it's pretty impressive. So we're going to continue that. I'm going to spend a few minutes here on my journey and kind of tie some of that together. And then I want to get into more about you guys specifically. And that's where I'm going to spend the bulk of my time. So my journey from a sales perspective, I actually started with the New Jersey Nets. It was a great first sales job. I got a lot of at-bats. I got some yeses, I got some nos, I got some maybes. I met clients. I did a lot of phone work. I prospected. I closed deals. It was a wonderful opportunity. I got some tremendous skills. The more at-bats you can get early in your sales career, the better you're going to do. So I was able to do that in my first job. I then joined D&B. I had a successful run at D&B. I joined D&B as a sales representative. About a year later, I was promoted to a senior sales representative. Was able to sell about $500,000 in my first year in a small to medium-sized market. And I was able to take full advantage of the good products and services that we have, and had, I should say, at that company. So I was promoted to a global sales associate soon after. So I was able to square off with C-level executives selling sales and marketing solutions, encompassing that big data mindset before big data was big data. And it was a really good place to be from that perspective. So after getting some of that global experience, I moved into sales management. And that was really exciting for me. I was able to lead people. I picked up some awards along the way, including Rookie of the Year in my first year. So that was certainly a great way to sort of catapult my career. And I was having a really good career at D&B. I was happy with it. Wasn't interested in going anywhere else. But the way things work, ADP was a conversation that came to play through a mutual contact. And that mutual contact said to me, hey, you have leadership experience, you have field sales experience, you have inside sales experience. ADP is looking to build a new channel. And we want you to come in and have a conversation with them. And I said, okay, that's fine. No problem. Not interested in leaving, of course. And that's kind of the way things go. So in the midst of all that, I went back and got my MBA degree. I felt like it was a really good time to tie real-world experience and education. And I got a lot out of that, tying that experience into that real-world education. So joined ADP as a sales executive to start this new channel. And I'll paint the picture for you. If you think about traditional ADP, we have always been a traditional feet in the street company. And there's a lot of companies in the office products industry, ADP being another company, that have been traditional feet on the street. And that's really one distribution model. ADP recognized this in the early 2000s and said, you know what, we can't just do business that way. We have to do business many ways. We have to acquire companies. We have to create inside sales channels. We have to create third-party relationships, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So as part of the alternative distribution, I came in and started an alternative distribution team. 13 people. Didn't really know exactly how we're going to attack the market. That was part of my job when I joined ADP to do so inside of a very big company. So we put up a few $1 million in sales in the first year. And that was great. I was promoted to vice president a few years later because that was $2 million of incremental dollars we didn't have. Company was happy with that. And what comes next? As you guys know, we want more. All right? Give us more. So they put some investment behind us. I was promoted to VP, hired a few managers, started to build the organization. And what happened 5 years later, as we continue to grow our organization, we definitely want more now. Keep it coming. So I was fortunate enough to be promoted to a division vice president. I now run a 140-person organization. I have several managers, and our organization continues to grow. So that opportunity came through ADP because the company sales culture, lots of opportunity, saw the market opportunity, and I was able to take advantage of that. And you guys will have those same opportunities as well. I was able to pick up some awards along the way. For those of you that are familiar with ADP President's Club, that's a sort of a coveted award that anyone can hit inside of the company if you hit a certain threshold in numbers, depending on what your quote is. So I've been able to do that 8 years in a row. Been fortunate to do that. I picked up 6 superstars, which is a short-term contest that ADP runs. I was nominated to ADP Leaders in Action, and this was definitely a great experience. So ADP does this every year now, where they nominate 26 leaders across the company. They get together in one room, and they focus on business process improvements. So I'm proud to say that some of the business process improvements that we recommend are now applied across ADP. So that's pretty cool. And I was the Sales Executive of the Year in my first year there. So just a little bit of my journey. Looks a little busy there. I wanted to tie it all together. But I will assure you, when you look at your career, it could absolutely look like this or better if done right. A little bit more on me, just to let you know and understand it's not all business. So this is my family, my wife Susie, my son Joey, my daughter Christina. It's definitely busy outside of work, without question. So one of the things that sales offers, and I talked about this, is quality of life. It really does if done correctly. So you absolutely need quality of life in the hectic life that we lead. So that's me running my first marathon last year. I actually had the opportunity in the middle area to go and visit China. I was there for 20 days. Got a lot of opportunity there. Was able to go to Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Beijing, and a whole bunch of different areas of China, and I'm actually climbing the Great Wall there. So it was a wonderful experience. That's my first dog with my kids, my entire family here. So it's not just all about sales in your career. It's about that quality of life and that work-life balance. Your differential advantage. So now I'm going to spend some time talking about you. And this is really important and some of the things that you can pick up on as you start to build your career. So first and foremost, your differential advantage. This is my perspective. You can take it or leave it. I think some of this definitely applies to big business today, without question. Integrity, qualifying and prospecting, which I'm going to get into. Strategic and conceptual selling, that's huge. We actually use the challenger model now at ADP, so all the interviewing that we're doing and all the training that we're doing is centered around the challenger model. And I could talk more about that if you'd like. Attitude, basic rules of success, goal setting, persistence, and determination. These are your differentiators if used correctly. So have you ever seen anyone in sales with a great attitude not succeed in sales or life? Truly someone who cares. With a great attitude, nothing's getting in their way. I have not. I personally have not. So success in sales, and we cover this in great detail in our new hire sessions, and we have exercises behind this, and there's a lot of things that we do. Success in sales is 90% self-discipline and attitude, and only 10% skill. Great career choice from that perspective. You can control your own destiny. Attitude on reality. So let's kind of go through this. We'll have a little fun with this. This is an average performer. We have some of these at ADP. Every company does. Our job is to challenge them, take it to the next level. We want everybody to not be an average performer. We want people to take it up a notch. So I had a strong sales month. I guess I'm on my way. That's the average performer. The great performer, in my mind, I'm never ahead. I distort reality to serve my competitive purpose. I'm always coming from behind, even when the score indicates I'm destroying my opponent. I never believe I'm performing as well as I actually am. How many people do that? Some of you, right? You're going to need to in sales if you want to be successful. So, self-confidence. How many have a lot of self-confidence in the room? Good. It's okay if you don't. You can work on it. Average performer. If my product was better and my price was lower, I definitely would have made my quota. Right? We hear that some, right. Well said, well said. So we definitely hear that at ADP. Our response is usually something like this. And we'll have someone come in and say, let's talk about self-confidence. When I wake up in the morning, my product and prices are what they are. And in many cases, they are in a big corporation. The buck stops with me. I rely on me to get it done. When I'm in a competitive situation, I never beat myself. There's no one out there that could take me out. I would not want to compete with me on a daily basis. This is the way you want to look at your career. And I will tell you, as you get into competitive situations in a big business environment, you're going to know your competitors. You're going to know them by name. I go out to dinner with some of them. You're going to walk into a building with your presentation in hand, maybe your iPad, and they're going to be walking out the building. And they're going to give you the wink. My presentation was good. Good luck. So that's the way it goes, guys. It's a competitive environment out there. And you're going to get to know your competitors really well. Your self-confidence will carry you through those times. Goal setting, extremely important. We talk about this and we train a lot on this at ADP. If it's not in your smartphone and not in writing, it's not really a goal. So when you start to look at goal setting in general, there's a lot of different ways you can go. You can have short-term goals, you can have long-term goals. You may not know what those goals are yet, but you want to start to challenge yourself. Discipline to review your goals once a week. That's extremely important. Setting goals in all areas of your life, personal, professional, fitness goals, whatever those might be. You're not just going to get to where you want to go if you don't have your goals. Setting activity goals along the way. So if you think about a sales environment, there's a reason why new opportunities might be tracked, pipeline is tracked, and things of that nature, because we're setting goals along the way, right? Life is no different. So you want to start now, certainly in doing this. And I'm going to give you some examples here. So attitude maintenance. So if you have your goals in writing, it's going to keep you in check. You're going to be pretty even. And we love even-tempered associates at ADP. You never want to get too high or low. And that's a business skill that many people have to work on and develop. But it's a work in progress for everyone. If you can stay even, this will help you. Forming habits. You don't just form habits. You have to have a plan around those habits. So we train around that at ADP, certainly. Creating focus. So when you think about setting goals, it keeps you on track. It keeps you where you want to be. So if you're looking at those goals every week, you're going to have those blinders on. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have bad months, bad quarters. And our CEO, if you asked him, he would say, hey, I've had bad years. That happens. But at the end of the day, setting goals is going to allow you to be the person that you want to be. And that's an exciting place to be. So some examples for me, I'll share some of those with you just to give you an idea of the context. I wanted to have my first manager job after 5 years in business. That was a goal for me. I did whatever it took to make that happen. I made sacrifices. I went back to school. I got certifications. Those are little goals along the way that you want to set for yourself to get you where you want to be. I'll give you a small fun one. And some of you that know me well may laugh at this, but I want to have all my holiday shopping done by November 15th.
How'd you do?
I'm done. I'm done.
Good goal setting.
As of today.
It's in your phone.
It is in my phone. It's in my iPad as well. So it gives you an idea. I'm going to enjoy the holidays. That was one of my goals, so I got it done. There's many different ways to set goals. You can have small ones and big ones. The point is you want to keep yourself on track. That's the point. And we talk about this all the time. So average performer, I think about my goals all the time. I know exactly what I want to do, right? Some of us do that. The reality is I commit to my goals and writing, review them every day and carry them with me. Would you like to see them? That's the difference. And as you get into your careers, your leaders will help you. Your mentors will help you. They'll help you come up with some of your goals even. But putting that in writing and challenge yourself is a differentiator. So I'm trying to give you here differentiators in the market to make you great at what you do. And this is one. Prospecting. I've talked about prospecting. So you get comfortable with this. Successful people do and unsuccessful people are not willing to do. If you're good at prospecting, you're comfortable, you're going to be a great salesperson. You're going to make a lot of money. You're going to get where you want to go. You're going to grow your career. You're going to have great experiences. This is one of the major differentiators. You want to get comfortable with this as a mindset. Prospecting mindset. I'm not judged by the number of times I fail, but by the number of times I succeed. And the number of times I succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times I can fail and keep on trying. And that is 100% true. And if you walked around ADP, a lot of people have this hanging in their desk. Right, Rachel?
Yeah, right.
So attitude on qualifying. The prospect loves me. He or she lets me talk to him all day long. If they let me, is that a good thing? Could be, probably not. So, my time is valuable. A highly paid sales professional, I look at prospecting and qualifying as a process in which I interview companies to see which ones need the most help right now. I then decide who I spend my time with. That's it. Time is your most valuable asset. And as you start to prospect and dig into the big data and really understand where you want to spend your time, this is going to become a very valuable asset for each and every one of you. Basic rules for success. Keep every promise made. Sounds simple on paper, right? But when you keep your promises, you're having a closed-loop mindset and attitude. So when you have a closed-loop mindset and attitude, you're doing an excellent job in a sales profession format. So you want to keep in touch and handle problems. You're going to bump into client service issues all day long as a sales rep. That's going to happen, especially when you're selling to a large universe of clients or prospects. That's okay. Companies change, executives change, companies change focus areas. You want to be right in the middle of that. And if you could bridge a relationship with a client service issue as an example, you're going to be on your way to sell them something in a reasonable period of time. So I love client service issues. I want them. That's my mindset, because I can create a relationship off of that and sell to that person. You want to get back to people immediately. That's one of the biggest shortfalls in anyone in a sales profession. Follow-up, from a statistical perspective in the sales profession, is woeful across the United States. It's not great. That's one that you can control. That's a differentiator that you can apply immediately. If you're in a scenario where you're maybe getting a lead, or a client picked up the phone to call you, or maybe filled out a web form to have someone call them, you got to call that client back immediately. Every minute that's going by, or prospect or executive contact, every minute that's going by, the probability of a buying purchase is going down. So you want to get back to people immediately, and we train on that at ADP. And you want to send every client a follow-up. I talked about closing, right? So it's moving that to that next step. You're always closing. You're getting commitments. That's all part of closing. And if you're following up and you're having that closed-loop mindset, you're going to do extremely well. Success. Those are some very simple formulas that you can utilize and apply, and I hope that resonates with all of you. Sounds simple. When you look at things that look simple, you may think they are. This is not easy. But it's easy to understand, and you can apply it. Sales persistence. 80% of all new sales are made after the 5th call. Anybody have a general statistic idea of what it is, what the actual number might be? 8? That's a good, definitely a good guess. 13? Statistical average across the United States is 14. So, what does that mean? Persistence. It's going to take patience. It's not going to happen immediately. 48% of all sales representatives make one call and then cross up the prospect. Very early in my career, and this is sort of innate, and I look back on it now and I say, boy, I wonder why and how I thought that way without having a lot of sales experience. But I went to my first manager and said, hey, can you give me all the bad accounts? Like, I want those. So clients that haven't called us back, ones that our sales reps said aren't going to buy from us, ones that we've written off. You can make a tremendous career out of calling those so-called bad accounts. Executives are changing, companies are changing, mission statements are changing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's no frozen point in time on when a client won't buy from someone or an executive contact. 25% quit after the 2nd call. No surprise there, right? I think you get my theme. 12% of all sales reps will call 3 times and quit. They're done. So if you call 3 times and quit, that means there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 more calls you would need to make that sale. And then finally, 10%, and this is you guys. This is you guys. 10% are going to keep calling until they succeed. And that's just the way it goes. It's a reality over and over and over again. I don't care if you're an enterprise selling. I don't care if you're selling to small businesses. I don't care if you're selling to one-person companies. It's the same mindset. And we're talking about large companies. Right? We're talking about small companies. The mindset and approach does not change. So thanks for that point. So great example of persistence. Actually, my wife keeps this hanging up in her office, and I thought it'd be a good one to share. So he failed in business. He was defeated for the legislator. He failed again in business. He was elected to the legislator. His sweetheart died. He had a nervous breakdown. He was defeated for Speaker. He was defeated for Congress. He was elected to Congress. He was defeated for Congress again. He was defeated for the Senate. He was defeated for Vice President. He was defeated for the Senate. He was elected President of the United States. His name was Abraham Lincoln, and he never admitted defeat. That's a pretty cool one for us to think about as it relates to sales, right? That's the mindset that you want to have. So a great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. We will keep going here. So self-development, you notice I listed the challenger sale first. The whole concept behind the challenger sale is that we're going to our executives, clients, and prospects, and we are challenging them. We are not accepting no. We are not accepting, well, call me at another time. We're sort of forcing some answers and conversation out of them. And I will tell you, when you get to C-level executives and you sell to that type of executive, they want to be challenged. They want to understand. Sometimes they're not as close to the action. So we're training all of our associates on the challenger sale. Just some books for you to think about as it relates to self-development, because this will be a never-ending process for you in your sales career. This is something fun. A lot of us use this at ADP, Success Hotline. There's a phone number here. Feel free to call it. It's Dr. Rob Gilbert from Montclair State University. He leaves a 2 to 3 minute message every morning around winning, quotes, success stories, and sometimes he has guests on there, and they are really special. So I have that on my speed dial. I get in the car in the morning, I hit it, I listen to it. It's a good way to start my day. So you guys may want to do that, and I will tell you, across ADP, probably 15% of the company does this. So it's kind of built into our culture. Winning formula. Goals. Right, we talked about that. Be a differentiator, get your goals in writing, challenge yourself, and they can change very often. Attitude, I'm going to go back. There's a number again if you need it. Attitude. Activity. Keeping the activity really, really high. That's the key. That persistence, that ongoing sales activity is huge. Keeping a high energy level in a sales profession is extremely, extremely important. Functional knowledge. We offer a lot of certifications. Most companies do. You want to be proficient in those certifications. You want to go into the market and say, hey, I know as much as more than you do about what's happening in the market. I could tell you 10 companies just like yours, here's the problems they're having. So that functional knowledge and experience, when you get on a sales call, that's exactly what they're looking for. They know their problems. They want to know what's happening out there, and they want to apply their problems to your solution. That's the key. So those are the two things you could bring in terms of functional knowledge. Sales skills, you guys are doing that already. So that's wonderful. It really is. Greatness. It's a very simple formula if you can apply it. And I think you can. I absolutely do. You've already made the commitment to be here. You already have tremendous sales skills. You're challenging yourself to be better. Other people are out doing different things right now, right? You're here. So I have tremendous respect for that. Always remember, I have a lot of respect for Bill Bradley. I'm actually a big Knicks fan. So I keep this quote pretty close to me. If you're not working at your game to the utmost of your ability, there will be someone out there, someone with equal ability who will be working to the utmost of their ability. And one day you will compete against each other, and they will have the advantage. There's no question. There's always a competitor out there. There's always someone working as hard or harder than you are. So you want to keep this in mind at all times. You want to have the advantage, right? And you can control that. Quality of life, sales offers that. I talked about that, and I'm just kind of wrapping this up here. So the quality of life is way more important than life itself. You want to have an excellent quality of life. You want to be a great salesperson, a great business person, a great friend, a great son and daughter, etc. And I think the quality of life that you can get in sales, if done correctly, offers that 100%. A lot of that is up to you as well. So, here's what most people think it looks like, success. If I work hard, if I do well, I'm going to get where I want to go. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. There's some of that, but this is really what it looks like. And it's very true. And you're creating your own squiggly lines already. We call these squiggly lines. You're creating those. You're here. You're making the commitment and everything else I talked about. So know and understand this. You're going to have bumps in the road. There's going to be tough days, tough weeks. You're going to hit different points of your career that are going to be difficult. But if you make a commitment and you understand this, you're going to be just fine. So with that being said, I want to thank you for your time today. I think I'm right on time. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I think the format here is going to continue to move, but I'll be around for a little bit if you guys want to talk. But thank you for having me today. I appreciate that.